Hey, Bob Squad, Beachtownians, basic beaches, sons of beaches, every one of you crazy cats. It's me, Bob. We are doing another episode of the Beachtown, San Diego-based comedy and mental health podcast to cheer you up. Jesse is not here. It's just me. I'll explain why in a minute. But first, theme song.
Jesse and Bob are two dudes on the job to brighten your day. Walk gabbing away on a pod. Forget your frown, let's see what's going down in Beachtown.
Okie dokie. What do you say? What do you know? How's tricks? How's the kids? Some whether we're happen to flatten our gums and twiddling our thumbs, slip out of an peel a one-trick pony, beating a dead horse. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Bob. Thank you again for joining me. This is episode 20 or 21. I can never remember. I can't keep it straight. Don't worry about it. Yes, I'm here. Well, let's do the baggage out of the way first. First of all, before we jump into it, today's episode, 20 or 21, there's no way of knowing, quite frankly, is brought to you by Pepsi Zero. Pepsi Zero is a delicious flavor of Pepsi with the same great taste as Pepsi, but no sugar, no calories, I think. I don't know. I didn't look it up. Yeah, there's got to be calories, I guess. Oh, it says zero. It says 0 calories. Look, I was right the first time. Believe in yourself is the point of this. Pepsi Zero, what you want to do right now, if you're listening, is go to PepsiCola.com, enter the promo code Beachtown, and nothing happens. They would probably like us to stop. It's a waste of everyone's time, but definitely enjoy the great taste of Pepsi Zero because I do before that I get a cease and desist letter in the mail. What's happening this week? Jesse Egan is not here, so here's what we're going to do. Jesse Egan and I both do stand-up comedy outside of our regular Monday, Friday, 8 to 5 jobs. He does a little more than I do, but nevertheless, that means our schedules and our free time are almost impossible. Any of our free time it's going to be hard to get together. So I want to make sure that I do something every week and take you behind the curtain. I'm the guy. I manage the YouTube channel, the email thing. I do the uploading and the editing, which is really the hard work and that kind of stuff. So I figured, why not just make sure at least every week, give you guys something. And I'll get Jesse on as much as I possibly can. He's actually recording another thing literally right now as I'm recording this because he's got other projects too. And if you're familiar with my Bob Squad YouTube channel, I got tons of other projects too. So always doing stuff. And getting us together is a pain in the ass. But I don't want to keep shortchanging everybody and putting out 1 or 2 episodes a month. It's just not, people are going to ask you if you still do that. It's going to be that project. Oh, you still do that? I didn't know. Did you still do that? Do you still do the thing? I don't want it to become that. Not just, we got a little ways to go. So I am going to do a check-in with Bob. Is this still a mental health podcast? I don't know. But we're going to check in. We're going to see how Bob's doing. And in the comments, Bob Squad, that's what I'm going to call you. It's hard for me to call you all the beach isms. Let me know how you're doing in the comments. We'll compare. We'll compare and contrast. I have friends that I only know, I know them online through various G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man conversations. And maybe they don't know so much about the other stuff that goes on. I have stand-up comedy only friends and blah, 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 and everything else. So I have San Diego friends. I have New York friends. Let's get to know Bob. I'll tell you what Bob's been up to. Why the hell not, right? So, earlier this week, Bob had a birthday. Oh, hey. Another trip around the sun, as the kids like to say, which is a stupid saying. You didn't make a trip around the sun. I didn't make a trip around the sun. I sure as hell don't like to travel. The Earth is doing all the work. Actually, the gravity's doing the work. The Earth is just spinning around, but we're taking credit for it because we're human beings, and that's what we do. Since my birthday's in February, so it's kind of close to New Year's anyway, so it doesn't. One almost kind of cancels out the other because usually people look at New Year's or sometimes their birthdays. This is a new year for me. This is a whole new start. It's a whole new start, which is hilarious because if you're born in like early January or late December, it's kind of like, oh, which is the whole new start? Oh my God, Tuesday is a whole new start until Friday where I changed my entire life again. So it's kind of just, oh, that's that number again. This is the number I'm going to be saying for a year is what it is. I'm never happy about it. I don't like birthdays. I don't like getting old. I don't think Bob should have to. I don't think it's fair that Bob should have to age. I think 39 was good. I could have stopped there. Like, we could have just, this is the age we are for like a while. But even 40 was like, oh, okay. Bob could be 40, haha. And then, And then we just kept going once or twice more. Yeah, not really a big fan of the process. Uh, the weekend before, I got to do an entire weekend, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday with your co-host of Beachtown, Jesse Egan. We were at the Madhouse Comedy Club at the Gaslamp District at the corner of 4th Ave and 5th Street. Or is that right? Which one's the avenue? Yeah, it's 4th Ave and 5th Street across from Portland Plaza. And if you perform there, they give you like a coupon for the parking. You don't really need to know that. I want to tell you that. Okay. Especially the San Diegans. I want you guys just to know. I want to name the location so you get the personal experience of where I was. That you too can come see Bob and Jesse live and in the flesh, live and in living color. You can reach out and touch us while we're on stage, on a sidewalk, in a bathroom. Just reach out and touch us. Just give us a little fondle. Go ahead. Go ahead. Mostly do it to Jesse, but don't say I said it anyway. Be hilarious. Now, so yeah, the weekend before this one that I'm recording, I got to do all 4 shows, and it was great to do like that repetitive weekend of stand-up comedy and find the new tricks that you can work in and tag on to your old stuff and blurt out some comeback to some random thing that happens, and now you have a ready new comeback for that to build the arsenal. I was building the weapons. This is not a good week to make the comparison of stockpiling weapons when you're talking about making jokes, but that's what that is. And that's a bummer. It's been hard for me to go, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say that because it sounds like I'm complaining about the people in Ukraine have real problems. And I'm like, oh, they kind of bum me out. Like, and don't do that, by the way. You should be bummed out. You're supposed to be. But like also, you're bummed out, but you're the least affected. Like you're fine. We think. Unless everything blows up. Then we won't be on Zoom recording meetings and turning them into podcasts and YouTube videos to complain about it. So that'll be what it is. But the best thing that's happened to Bob, what happened to Bob? I always say I hate to happen. No, because it didn't happen to me. I did it. So I drove from San Diego up to Redondo Beach, 3 hours to get there. Good God, ton of traffic. It's 2 hours in Google Maps and 3 hours in actuality. To visit the God of Thunder himself, the King Pitbull, at 14 and a half years strong. Luigi. Oh, it was good to see Luigi. Give him his scratches. I bought him Milo's chicken meatballs because he gets the fanciest, snazziest snacks from the market whenever I go there. And I took him for 2 walks. And on a second walk, the night one, he had a lot of pep in his step. And I didn't want to take him too far because he's old, he's slow. He doesn't walk nearly as fast as he used to, especially in the middle of the day when it's a little bit warmer, and he just kind of moseys around and smells things mainly. It's more about the smelling and of course the pissing and shitting, but no, it's more about him taking his time and doing his thing than it is about the walk. Like he doesn't need the exercise. So he's old. He just needs to move a little bit and just get outside and breathe. And he lives on the ocean. He freaking lives on the ocean, that guy. But nighttime, it's cooler. There's a breeze. I got my hat on and my jacket, and he takes me. He insists. He took me to the pier where all the people were, and I was a little hesitant. I'm like, Luigi, I'm not supposed to take it as far. We're really supposed to get back. I don't want to. But no, he insisted. He let me know, and he used his line. He used his line on me. Luigi looks at me and he says, "Bro, that's the best Luigi impression I can do. It sounds as much like him as I could possibly get it." He'd say it sounds nothing like him, but he goes, "Babe, we don't take walks. We go on adventures." I'm like, "Oh, you got me." He used to always use that line on me when he wanted to go further and stay in the park, in Astoria Park in Queens, New York more. So I took care of this dog. And if you're new to this, if you don't know, Bob, what's this dog that you're friends with that you travel to visit? It was my one of my New York roommates' dogs that I took care of for a very long time. And then Luigi, thankfully, just before the pandemic, uh, moved to well, not thankfully because I missed him, but he know his owner took him to Redondo Beach, and I was still in Queens, New York, and I wouldn't see him again for another year, which is March 2021. And since then, I've had 3 visits so it looks like every 5 or 6 months. Yeah, I drive up, and I spend a couple hours there for 4 or 5 hours, and just hang with Luigi. We take a nap together, of course. Got to take a nap. That's our thing. It's like everybody's thing. Good to see the coach. Hate leaving him. It's just the worst. And he knows it and he milks it. And I'm putting away the key to the lockbox. There's a lockbox to hold some spare keys to get into the Luigi's owner's apartment. And I'm just like, I just hope he stays bundled up with the teddy bear, with his teddy bear that I left him with, and he just stays there and puts and just sleeps until she comes home from work, or whatever. And sure enough, that big bull head just smashes through the blinds, and he's hanging his head so low it's almost scraping off the ground. But I mean, he does that. He's going to do that anyway. If you see him every day and you go for 10 minutes, he's going to do that to you. But not as extreme, but nevertheless, it's his move. He knows. But his owner said he was in a great mood when she came home. So like, okay. That is good water. I know I'm only drinking water because I've already finished my delicious can of Pepsi Zero. Once again, PepsiCola.com. Promo code Beachtown. Nothing's going to happen. I don't even know if there's a promo code option, honestly. Who the fuck orders soda off online? Like, why would you just go to the store? I have no idea. I've never been to PepsiCola.com. Beachtown, enter promo code. Hey, let's do something out of the blue. Let's do a movie review. Are you ready?
Popcorn and previews, movies and reviews at the theater. At the theater.
Goodness gracious, what has Bob been watching? Well, Bob's been watching a little bit of everything. Bob's been watching the book of Boba Fett. And I'm not going to make fun of the guy. I don't want to fat shame him. Bob's finished the season of Peacemaker, which starring the very handsome John Cena, and singing the song from Peacemaker and doing the dance. If you watch it, you know what I'm talking about. And just had an overall great time. Arguably the greatest television show ever made. So I really enjoyed those. But recently, I watched Robocop 2. That's not the movie we're going to review right now. Because after watching Robocop 2, which is arguably the greatest film ever made, I watched Robocop 3 to see how it measures up. Okay. Are you ready? I'm going to give you a synopsis, and I'm going to spoil it. It's from 1992. I'm going to spoil Robocop 3 for you. Okie dokie. We start off, and like every Robocop movie, there's a fake commercial. This one, a corporation bought a city, which was considered preposterous in 1992. Now they just call it Seattle. Get your Amazon Prime membership today. For 30 days, you get free shipping on all. Okay, never mind. PepsiCola.com. So there's a fake commercial with Omni, whatever, Corp. No, that's Spider-Man. It's OC. Who gives a shit? It says a fake commercial, and some corporation bought a bunch of houses, and they're kicking out all the poor people, of course. And the main bad guy is British, and he shows a main bad guy who's a Japanese guy who has a sword, and he's a ninja, and he's coming. And I guess he's going to fight Robocop, but they don't really explain why that guy is associated with the British guy. But anyway, there's a guy, a poor guy, and he's got a daughter who's like 8, and she's really smart, and she's on this small, like, primitive iPad type of thing doing her homework, and she's a genius because she can do some of her homework on a computing device. And then the dad tucks her in, and she's scared. She says, I saw on the news that the bad corporation is are they going to make us move out of here? And he says, don't worry, I'll keep you safe forever because I am a dad, and blah 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 blah. And as he says that, a wrecking ball comes through this 8-year-old girl's window. Jesus Christ almighty, this is the worst thing ever. And they live, and he scoops her up, and him and them and the wife / mother get the hell out of there. But you go into the lot, and the corporation is stealing the people and they're shoving them into buses. And for no reason at all, the kid could not come with the parents. She had to be separated. And the kid didn't get on a bus, so she was just 8, and the buses drive away. And the kid is just in this rubble, just the rubble, stealing hamburgers. And no, and she's just screaming for her parents, and it's the worst thing ever. And then the lady who they were trying to portray, I think, is the crazy homeless lady that the police knocked around, and not the police of Detroit in RoboCop, but the private security police. They had no hesitation on shooting her. They didn't shoot her yet. They do. She dies. LOL. Yeah, the British guys like just shoot her or whatever the hell. Something about collateral damage. I'm Elon Bezos. That's what I call every evil businessman in every movie. I'm that guy. You can shoot her because I have money, and he's right, but still, some dust on my computer. I'm getting this thing off. And then, anyway, they don't shoot her for some reason, and like she's a human. No, so there was a distraction. And oh yeah, at some point, RoboCop's supposed to show up. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, the lady's name is Bertha, and the kid gets saved by Bertha from being chased down by an officer who was, I guess, going to gun down the child. Is that what they were trying to suggest in RoboCop 3? And the kid, and it's basically it's like the Matrix without the fake computer like pod thingies. It's this underground rebellion group who's got their own weapons and their own mini society, living in the sewers wherever the hell they live, about to take down the evil British guy's empire without knowing about his Japanese guy who has a sword. And then RoboCop is still not around until RoboCop's partner, Shirley, officer something, her and her officer co-workers get caught in an empty lot, and they're surrounded by people who look like the Dreadnoks from G.I. Joe. They all got purple hair and something, and they can't stop snarling, and they got terrible teeth, and they're all whacked out, and it looks totally bananas. And then they're those wacky bananas thugs are about to kill all the cops because they keep throwing Molotov cocktails at them. And then RoboCop shows up. He disobeys an order. He was supposed to chase down the van that had the 8-year-old girl with the fake iPad, excuse me, and Bertha. And instead, RoboCop turns around because Murphy's a human and he can make his own decisions, and he still has feelings and memories, except the main lawyer guys at the precinct say he doesn't, and they're still having this fight in the 3rd movie. And hot doctor lady is like, he's Murphy, and douchebag corporate guy is, no, he's property. Blah, 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 blah. They have the same argument. And the hot doctor lady is very upset, and the guy should have been fired because he keeps calling her toots and doll and sweet cheeks and all these things. And he's like, no one's calling HR because it's the 90s, I guess. And then RoboCop kills the Dreadnoks. And we're only like 10 minutes into the movie. I'm sorry, I'm going to speed this up because this is stupid. And then, so RoboCop eventually he goes to the church where the rebels are hiding, and it really is like Bertha's job. She's basically Princess Leia in Force Awakens. She's just this old lady just yelling, and she's the general in charge of the thing, right? And there's a bunch of dudes, and one of the dudes is Milton from Office Space, but he does a Matrix thing too, and he stooges on them, and then he gets killed anyway or something like that, and then he doesn't get a piece of ice cream or birthday cake because last year he was told he would get one, but they told him to pass one in line. But this is part of Office Space and not RoboCop 3, because none of that's important right now. But be that as it may, RoboCop doesn't want to hurt the children, and he wants to. His protocol tells him to fight the bad guys, the ones who are harming innocent people, which would mean he should defend the good guys, the rebels, from the evil corporate private army. But he has a protocol in him that won't let him do that, so he doesn't, and they blow him to bits, and he's only at 20-something%, blah blah blah, and he falls in the sewer, and the little girl somehow keeps him alive barely. And then he says, the RoboCop says the name Lazarus, which is the name of the hot doctor lady. So somehow they get a hold of hot doctor lady. I forgot how. And hot doctor lady helps him back to life, to full power. And things are looking a little bit better. So RoboCop's protecting him, but he also can't climb stairs, if you notice. They never show him because you can't do it in the suit. And then a Japanese guy with a sword shows up and he beats the shit out of Robocop and cuts his arm off and he makes crazy faces. And then somehow there's two Japanese guys with the swords as a clone, and the girl uses her iPad to program the two Japanese sword guys who are actually robots to cut their own heads off. And then the jetpack that was never tested, that Dr. Hot Lady designed, Robocop wears the jetpack, and when a bomb goes off to kill the evil British guy, Robocop scoops up a child and Hot Lady and flies him out of the building with the jetpack on. The building blows up with evil British guy in it, and that's the end of the movie, and everybody's happier. But they just roll credits, and they never address this really, really important, sad thing that happens. At one point, the 8-year-old girl is asking RoboCop about her parents, which is hilarious because when the 8-year-old girl broke into the police precinct, now that I think about it, to talk to Dr. Hot Lady, at no point did Dr. Hot Lady even think to go, hey, since you're a lost child in a police station, maybe I can look up where your parents are. She just followed the girl into the sewer to fix the robot. And that was that. But RoboCop had gotten into the records beforehand, and when the little girl says, "Do you know where my parents are?" RoboCop does a memory scan real quick, and both her parents are deceased because what was the point of making them dead? We have to do the saddest thing possible all the time. Anyway, I understand they're barely going to be in the movie, but you can't have that 3-second thing where they see her from the fucking end across from the parking lot of the street and they run together and they hug, and that's part of the happy music montage at the end. And then you cut to RoboCop making sexual relations with Dr. Hot Lady. But they didn't do that. No, they're dead, I guess. And RoboCop, who I don't think is capable of lying, lies to the little girl and says something about some vague bullshit about memories keeping people alive or something. And I'm like, yeah, it's a little shady there, RoboCop. I don't know. But and it's not played by Peter Seller. It's some other guy. It's Robert something, because I think Peter Seller had enough of this. But what's he done lately? I don't know. So RoboCop 3 ends with RoboCop flying away in a jetpack with Dr. Hot Lady and a child who has no parents. And it's not addressed as to if this child is going to stay with Dr. Hot Lady and RoboCop as parents, which would have made an excellent RoboCop 4, or if she goes to an orphanage, or if maybe she has other family like grandparents or aunts and uncles or something that can take her in. Like, they never addressed the fate of this orphaned child. They just RoboCop jetpack. We killed the bad guys. Goodbye. Buy toys on this R-rated movie for some reason. Oh, Bertha gets shot at some point. They just blow her to bits. I forget what now. And that was that. All in all, if I could sum it up, and I know if Jesse were here, he would ask me, for one sentence to sum it up. I'd say arguably the greatest film ever made. There you go. That's what's going on, Bob Squad. What is the future like for these things? I don't know, but we're going to keep doing them. I want the people who watch this to be united. All right, I'm going to keep, every time I hit this couch when I talk for emphasis, it's shaking. If you're watching on YouTube, it's shaking the camera right now. Probably driving me fucking nuts. What do we want to do? I don't know. These are trying times. I'll say this. This is as political as I'll get for one side or the other. If it starts with the word far, get it like far the fuck away from me is how I feel. Nothing with the word far ever works or involves any kind of listening, compromise, learning, any progress, etc. It doesn't. Knock the shit off. Can't have everything you want. I got plenty of friends on every side of the fence, but nothing with the word far has ever done anyone any good. So hopefully things get a little bit better. Which I know I have some European buddies who are a hell of a lot closer to the scary situation in Ukraine and Russia. That's the one I'm talking about, in case you were wondering. I was not talking about the possibility of WWE Entertainment performing in London or anything like that. just scary for different reasons. I'm surprised after they did WWE Blood Money in Saudi Arabia that they're not just going to do one in Russia either, just for to keep the evil streak going. That would not be very nice. But as far as the the Sun Bob videos over to Bob Squad channel, starting filming for one after recording this. I'm very tired from many hours in the car yesterday, so I'm going to go to my favorite Hawaiian place. I get the katsu chicken with a small green salad and white rice, and they give me some sauce, but the chicken is really just as good with light sauce or even no sauce. I used to order a regular, they have cans of soft drinks. I used to order a regular root beer, but I stopped doing that because they didn't. I switched to the diets. They have a diet Coca-Cola, but I'm not going to get that either. I stopped getting that because this show is brought to you by Pepsi Zero. No other brand, Pepsi Zero. Again, PepsiCola.com. Enter promo code Beachtown. I don't think anything is really going to happen at all. I don't even think it's happened. It's mattered enough for them to be upset at all. But someday they will. And someday, hopefully, if they hear my voice, if they hear your voice, Bob Squad, they will finally create the perfect soft drink. Diet Pepsi Blue. Gotta love that. That was a great 6 weeks, man. Pepsi Blue was just coming in my Walmart. I bought it all, drank it. Take a look at me now. I'm just an empty space. I'll get kicked off. No, I won't. I'm not gonna get kicked off of YouTube. We're badly singing Phil Collins. Just unsubscribed from. It's about half an hour ish. Just good to catch up with you. Shooting a breeze, chewing a fat. Did I say that already? I need new ones of those. You know what I mean? I use the same ones a lot. I don't use the older ones, like Third Time's the Charm, Three's Company, get 86 the whole 9 yards, 24/7, 365. I don't use those bad boys anymore. Did I do the Bamboozled one earlier? I forget. I don't remember. They come in chunks. You know what I think I'll do? I'll just tell you. It goes faster that way. On the Bob Squad channel, I think I will upload the entire set of the 1 minute or 1 minute goofing on with the Bob tattoo. I want to stretch my Danhausen shirt, but whatever, it's there. A new way to do the reveal. I'm going to put the whole set on the tube because that club doesn't seem to have particularly strict guidelines about that kind of stuff. Some of them do. Some of my favorites or hometown clubs are really they're strict on, hey, don't post this, blah 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 blah, and and I love them. For the comic, as a comedian, you have different feelings on that. And as a club, I get their feelings on it. Whatever. If you're a comic, it just kind of keeps the same people in the spotlight forever. Is really how I feel. But if you're the club, you don't want maniacs and weirdos who just posting themselves doing or saying stupid shit on your stage. So it's performers and gatekeepers. It's always going to be like this. And I respect the rules because I do like that club. They're my people. But as a general rule, I don't care much for any of the gatekeepers, the industry idiots. I just had a friend of mine perform, and a lady, someone was admonished for laughing too hard during his set by just a dumb club owner, quite frankly. And anytime, now, by the way, I know what some comedian out there is going to say. Yes, I realize a lot of times if you get a heckler or whatever, if you kick them out of there, they say, I'm being kicked out for laughing. It wasn't this situation. I know these people. I trust these people and their versions of it. And the person was just not kicked out, but just admonished or shushed. And it was a situation where I know that person's been to enough comedy shows where their only audible response is going to be a laughter at the appropriate punchline time. Okay, so I know that type of that. I know that the place they're speaking of and the way it's ran. So I'm okay, whatever. Really, just because that's not the headliner or whatever. It's some stupid reason you just want to shush someone who laughed loudly in their comedy show, like at the joke, like not even because you'll get side tables. They'll have their own conversation, their own chatter, and then one of them will laugh loudly at like ah, we're having a big, but they're being a big distraction. They're not, watching the show or anything. And then when you say, "Hey, can you keep it down?" They go, "Oh, you're kicking me out of a comedy club for laughing," and you have this. It wasn't that. So before you say that, so I hate bookers so much, Bob Squad. I really do. They've made my life so miserable. Not one of them knows anything about stand-up comedy because they would be doing it if they did. They'd be doing it well, but they never can. So those who can't book, I guess, but whatever. They're not going to touch me anyway. Not really too worried about it. So we try to find new avenues to reach for people. So hopefully, Bob Squad, this becomes an avenue where I can reach out to you guys, especially you San Diegans, and let you know where I'm at. Was this a mental health check-in? The first half, kind of, to let you know where I was at. Let's do a little more time on that if you're still listening to this. Then we'll wrap it up real quick. So I'm feeling physically healthier, which helps the mental state. I've lost some of the belly. There was a time Jesse took some photos of me on stage, and I could see my belly all expanded. I'm like, oh, it's gross. And about a week and a half later, after this same exercise, but just a way better diet, he took some more pictures, and I looked at it and went, okay, you could already see we're going in the right direction. So, it's hard. I got my hernia meshes in. I got my umbilical, my inguinal. I haven't shown you my new groin yet. Maybe next time. But it's holding everything together. There are days where I think they're moving around, and one side hurts, and then the other side hurts. And it was a whole fucking gimmick. So I'm feeling better. I'm not as shitty about the promotion at my job that I got mad about. I didn't want the promotions. I just didn't want the responsibility. I just wanted to just leave me alone. I don't want it. It's really not enough. It's like an extra $1 an hour just to piss me off. I don't want it. Is how I felt. I still kind of feel that way, but I'm doing better with it. I'm taking more breaths and going, hey, take advantage. Take every advantage you can take. You're remote, right? They can't see your face. You're using instant messages all day long, so they can't hear your tone or your muttering. You can take a breath. Like, they can't see you or hear you, really. There's calls, but most of the time they can't. They can never see you and hear you a little bit throughout the day. So really, it's getting better. I'm lucky where the people training me are like, they're just so chill about it. They're like, yeah, take a little time you want. Learn how to do this thing, learn how to do that thing. And, it's better than it was. I got to see Luigi. And basically it's not just visiting it's not a dog. It's a soul cleansing experience. Every time I visit Luigi, I'm like, oh, everything makes sense again. And the way I felt after talking to Luigi last night was he wanted me to just talk to you a bit more. Okay. And for the YouTube version of this, this is me sitting at a badly lit couch and blinds. Like, don't stare at me talking. I hope you didn't do that. Just put it on. Do what I do. Look at something else and just use the YouTube as a radio. Do that, for the love of God. Do something else. I'm just some fucking guy. Oh, I don't know what my dates are this week for my best of San Diego comedy shows at the La Jolla Comedy Store. I don't know, but they tend to come up pretty quick. So, as soon as I know, usually I have the show the next day anyway. But who knows? Who knows? And the Madhouse weekend is over. So I don't know what else is coming up as far as live performing is. So I'm going to try to make you some more videos over on the Bob Squad channel. Try to entertain you. Get a little goofy with it. Get a little silly with it. Get a little nutty, a little zany, a little bonkers. There's going to be horseplay. There's going to be shenanigans. There's going to be tomfoolery. There's going to be chicanery. There's going to be lollygagging. There might be roughhousing. There might even be roughhousing. You don't know. You never know. On a side note, too, I was bummed. I thought that I had accidentally killed one of the lizards that I like that hang around, because I saw one half underneath one of my sandals, and I'm like, oh, shit, I killed him. No, I love the lizards. I don't want to. And I was poking him with an envelope, because he wasn't noticeably flattened or anything like that. You can't really tell because they squeeze under stuff. But he wasn't like squish. It wasn't guts and everything else. He was just like, is he flat? I can't really tell. And I was poking with an envelope, and I thought he was dead because he's moving, but he's moving stiff. And then thankfully he was just freezing up is all he was doing because he was scared of me. So because I was trying to like get an envelope underneath him and put him in a baggie and maybe throw him away, but tie it up so the animals don't rip these little lizard guts all over the place. But as soon as I would step away, he'd scamper. He'd start scampering. He was scampering good, so he wasn't even injured. He was just hiding under the sandal and under the arch of the foot. It's not like a completely flat sandal. There's like a divot, which I didn't even realize, and he was just kind of hiding under there, which is why I thought that I fucking squashed a lizard. But I still tricked him into a Walmart shopping bag and took him outside and let him go in the grass. And then I looked away. When I looked back at that spot, and he's long gone. So I don't think the lizard was definitely alive, and I don't even think he was injured. I think he was plain dead, and I did not kill a lizard, which was really good. So that was a good couple of weekends for Bob. Good comedy shows. Comics, can we not open with depressing, stupid bullshit? Like, stop making dumb choices. A paying, happy audience doesn't want to hear depression, anxiety, suicide, atheism, like what if war, like that, because that'll be the thing now. I don't want to tell you what to talk about. I never talk about serious stuff, but like when you just say it, you just say a sad thing, you have no punchline, you just remind people of sad stuff. Be the host of a show. Like, people are fucking idiots, don't know what they're doing. And then you got to call the doctor to clean it up. And that's me, Dr. Bob. Signing out. Until next time, Bob Squad, Beachtownians, basic beaches, sons of beaches. I thank you very much. Maybe we'll get Jesse back on the next one. And if we don't, maybe I'll have a little bit more prepared stuff for you. Maybe I'll review another movie. I hope you enjoyed my review of Robocop 3. I'm hitting stop recording. T-shirt coming soon.